A couple days ago, and I was like, I have a really good idea. I think that we should combine team calls today. So here we are. I'm just going to let Monica in. So I'm just going to get started here, and I wanted to talk a little bit about diamonds. So what was just played is Hawk Nelson, and his album is actually called Diamonds. And there's just a lot of really good things. And I was actually just reading about diamonds the other week and thinking and praying and just like taking all this in myself. I hadn't planned it really to be a team call. It was something that I was looking into. And the reason I actually am going to just be really authentic and raw, we're just going to get real here, because I think that is what people need to hear, not like all the fluffy things all the time. So I was like having a really rough day, and just like, you know, those days, like put a 1 in the chat if you have a day where you want to quit. Or you're like discouraged, or you're like, why am I doing this? Like, you know, I suck. Am I even worth it? Is this for me? Put a 1 in the chat, please. Okay, I'm having a day today. So I was having one of those days, 100%. That's normal. Okay, and if you didn't put a 1 in chat, you might be lying to yourself. We'll talk later. So anyway, so I was having one of those days. And I was talking, so that's when I started researching about diamonds. And I was talking to Jodie about my husband. So he got me this beautiful diamond bracelet for Christmas. Cute, right? Took a picture of it, just letting Jodie in here. I took a picture of that bracelet, put it up on Facebook. You can probably find it there, about this diamond bracelet. I was so excited about it. I loved it so much. I'm probably going to cry. And the reason I thought about this was I was talking to Jodie the other day, and she had a cup that symbolized ruby, and it broke the other day, shattered. The whole cup just shattered. And she was like, Amanda, I think this is God telling me I need to let go of ruby. I think it's time for me to let go of what's not mine anymore. And I said, Jodie, I said, every single thing I've gotten as a rank up symbolism has broken or gotten lost. I'm like, what does that mean for me? I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, my sapphire, I went through 3 pairs of sapphire earrings. 1 earring gets lost. 1 was left in Mexico. 1 is probably in Timbuktu. I have no idea. And then Brandon gets me, because I didn't have anything left that was blue. So he gets me this diamond bracelet, and it breaks. Like, I was devastated, you guys. It was like real diamonds. And I had a sweater on, and I was taking it off, and I thought it was part of my sweater, and I ripped it. The whole thing broke. And at that point, I was talking to Jodie, and I said, maybe there's something to this, like your cup breaking. Like, why would that break? Maybe there's something behind that breaking. And then I was like, I'm going to start researching about diamonds, because I feel like there's some symbolism here. I wish I'll have to find that bracelet. I started researching about different things about diamonds, and I thought, yeah, that thing broke, because that's how diamonds are made. We're broken. You don't go diamond without breaking over and over and over and over again. Diamonds are made in about 1,000 degrees and 150 kilometers under the earth, under pressure from dust. So you're dust, and you're made into a diamond through a lot of pressure, a lot of heat, and they don't sparkle until then. So they're beautiful. And it's so easy to look at that end diamond. Like, I want that. I want to sparkle like that. I want that so bad. But then when we're going through that refining process, and we're having that day, that number 1, we decide to quit on ourselves on the worst day we're having, that's when we're literally becoming diamonds. And so if you stick through that, that's where the magic happens. And so when we were at convention, normally team calls are 30 minutes. This is going to be longer. If you want to get off at 7 o'clock MST, just hop off. But this is just, I've got stuff to share. So at convention, they were talking about, like, there's some diamonds up there, and they're sharing all their struggles and their businesses. They were like laughing about it. It was Christina Williams and who's her upline? Anyway,
Brittany
Howard. And they're laughing. They're like, yeah, I remember when, and they're going through all the things that happened wrong in their businesses. And I was like, I don't talk about that enough with my team. I need to do that more. So the first thing about diamonds, Jodie, the notes I sent you, I skipped past the first part because I was waiting for you. So we're just going to go back to that. Just so you're not like, what are we doing? Anyway, first thing about diamonds is they're made under pressure. And so let me just tell you guys, like, so I've been signed up for 3 years, and I think it could be easy for people to look and say, oh my gosh, like you won emerald in a year and you enlist all these things, right? It can be so easy to look at someone else's success, but it's like an iceberg. There's this under the water, and you're seeing this little thing sticking out of the water, and you're not seeing this. And so I'm talking about this today. I'm talking about the crap. We're just talking about the crap today. We're just going to get really real here. So in my business, I have had probably about 14 golds quit, maybe 4 senior golds quit. People cancel their subscriptions. My points go back a couple hundred points overnight in a month. When I went emerald, it took about 5 months to hit emerald again. I haven't fallen off of it since then, but it took 5 months to even hit it once ever again. And it was kind of like identity, where I was like, people look at me like I'm an emerald, but I'm not a real emerald because I'm not actually ranking emerald. Like it took me 5 months to get back there. Your identity is not in your rank, friends. I have had massive anxiety. I've had family not support me. I've had days where I'm honestly just crying in tears and I'm like, I don't think this is for me anymore. This is really hard. I have run team calls with one person on team call. Book study, we just had 2. Thanks for showing up, but team calls last fall, I had my mom come because no one was showing up. And I felt like I was literally doing this completely alone, ready to quit. And not just a bad day. It was a bad couple months where I intentionally chose every single day to show up. Every day was a choice. And I look at that and I'm thinking like, what if I would have quit on my worst day? What if I would have quit when things weren't working out and everyone was quitting and I was doing this whole thing by myself? Well, I sure as crap can tell you that half the people on this call wouldn't be sitting here today. That I had single moms come in here. I've had people without jobs come in. I have had a lot of lives change because I kept showing up. And there are people literally waiting and praying for what you have. And I know they're out there waiting for you. And if you decide to stop, they're not going to be blessed. And looking back at that now, I'm just like, oh my gosh, what if I would have stopped? And I was just talking to my friend Cindy about this. She's an emerald in Canada, and she's done this for 9 to 10 years. And we were just talking in Messenger yesterday, back and forth, how grateful we were. We were talking about everything that's happened in our businesses. We're like, you too? Oh my gosh, me too. You had that happen? And we were like, not like moaning over it. We were grateful. And we're going to go into gratitude tonight too, but we were so grateful for all of that because I wouldn't be able to understand where my leaders are coming from when they go through things if I didn't go through it. I wouldn't have that empathy. I wouldn't have the character traits I had because that's where you become. And it's not about hitting the rank, it's who you become through that and who you're becoming through the process of it. That's what really matters. So that's the first thing, is they're made under pressure. Every diamond is different. There's not one diamond. I'm talking not like plexus, but that's true too. Real diamonds, they all are different. They all have different patterns. They all have different shininess. And so often we can look at maybe that diamond that we want to be, right? I really like Christina Williams. I'm like, I want to be like her when I grow up. And it can be easy to almost be like, if I could just be like her, then my business would grow. Or when I become like so-and-so, or if I could be like less like this, maybe I could grow better. And the truth is that's not true because every diamond is different. And this world needs each of you, each of your own strengths, and trying to be like somebody else, you're not giving the world back what they need, which is you. I think of a clock when you get the package or whatever it is. I'm trying to look around here, but say you get a clock, a package to build a clock, all the pieces. There's no extra pieces, but there's also nothing missing. It has exactly what it needs in that box. And I truly believe that none of you are here by accident. You are all here on purpose. You are not an extra piece, and you're not the missing piece. You're in the box and there's just enough parts, and you're part of that. You're not here by accident, guys. You need to be here. If we all had the same piece of the clock, we couldn't build it. So you are literally here on purpose, and every diamond's going to be different. And so you need to hone into your strengths and focus on your strengths and not your weaknesses, because it's so easy to focus on what we're lacking versus what we have to give. Because what you focus on grows, and we want to grow our strengths, not our weaknesses. Focus on, this is homework, make a list of 3 strengths you have. That's going to drive your business. Okay. I'm close with, I look at different diamonds. I was at a retreat with Brooke, actually with Jodie, and I was looking at all the different people, and I'm like, we've got Brooke, and then I've got a Krista Howland over here that's a friend in Canada, and then we've got Natalie. Like, they're all so different in the best way. They're all so amazing, but like, we've got introverts, extroverts, people that don't even understand their back office, but have passion as crap that are diamonds because their passion drove them to diamond. And then you have other people that are more into numbers and would have a panic attack if they thought of another diamond that couldn't know Excel. Okay, so just focus on your strengths. The third thing is diamonds can't be broken. It actually takes diamond dust to break a diamond. They're very strong. You can't just go break it. And so that's really powerful. So your inner strength, I wrote this down, inner strength makes you who you are. You can't change your circumstances, but you can change your response to them. Really powerful. So I want you guys to make, and I'm going to pass this over to Jodie. Actually, I'm going to, well, do I play the song? But I want you to make 3 scales. This is curiosity, not judgment. This is not like, oh, I suck. Don't do that, or get off if you're going to do that, because I don't want that happening. This is curiosity, because unless we're aware, we can't change. Okay. I want 3 scales of like this, whatever. It's going to be 10 lines. This is hard to light, but a line with 10, like a scale 1 to 10. And I want you to rate yourself on your belief tank. Your self-love, and I can't read my own writing. Oh, we're not talking about that yet. We'll do that later. Your gratitude tank, because we're not talking about systems today. This is the system. Okay, this is the system. There's no verbiage here. This is the magic system. I get asked a lot. I've had a few people reach out this week to me, like just random sidelines asking for different systems, different things that I'm doing. And if it were as easy to just give you verbiage, we would all be diamond by now, or emerald, or whatever it is. Okay, so sorry, Amalia, belief tank, your self-love, and your gratitude tank. So those are your things, because your self-love, that's every diamond's different. Your belief tank is what's going to get you to be unbreakable. And your gratitude tank, we're going to talk about a little more with Jodie here. She's got some good things she wants to share about that. If we have time later, I just want to get through the meat. There's a song called Diamonds by Hawk Nelson. I love it, but I just would rather talk than listen to music tonight. So look that up if you want to. And Jodie's going to talk a little bit about gratitude. She told me this week, and I was like, it was like a slap in the face. I even told her, I was like, no one ever wants to say that they're not grateful. And my immediate reaction is like, I am such a grateful person. It's not that you're not a grateful person. It's not who you are. It's just that not being intentional with gratitude. And that's where I was at up until a few days ago. I was not being intentional with my gratitude. And it definitely affects your business. So Jodie's going to talk about gratitude now. I think you're muted, friend.
Yeah, okay. There. Now I found it. Oh my word. Amanda, did you talk about the second point there yet?
Every diamond's different.
No. Okay.
The bread. I haven't
Yeah.
talked about anything before the diamond. I sent her a
Okay.
list and she's like, what is Amanda doing? I haven't
No,
talked
no,
about
no.
anything above diamonds.
No, it's great. I like double booked myself, so I was like had to walk out of the baby shower.
Thank
Anyway,
you for
oh,
pivoting and coming.
it is so good to be here. And oh my word. My team has heard me, like our whole team, like we've been talking so much about gratitude recently. And sometimes it can almost be kind of like gut health can feel like such a buzzword, right? Well, sometimes gratitude can kind of feel like that buzzword sometimes right now too. But oh, there's just something so powerful. And so there's so many stories that I could tell you. And I'm like, man, what story maybe? So what was the one that you had listed here? Okay. Um, about a month ago, I was doing this exercise with a coach. And one of the exercises was to think about something that you always have negative thoughts about. What is something you always have negative thoughts about? And probably right now you have something in your mind. Something comes to your mind, like just hang on to that. What do you feel like you're just always running up against? And it's like, ugh, maybe like it's never good enough. Well, she told us to come up with something like that. And you know where my mind went to right away? Right away. My mind went to that third box in my back office that says points and rank. How many of you dread to go into your back office because ugh, like you don't really want to see those points? Either like because they're just not going to be high enough. Like somebody's turned off their subscription, right? And it's just not quite where you want it to be. And we had to write down all of our thoughts about those points. And like if I could speak to that box, to me it was the box, but it was the points in the box. If I could speak to that, what would I say? And so we did this exercise and this is really good. Like do this sometime with something. And then we had to also take the exercise and like pretend that I'm the box, pretend that I'm the number. And what would I say back to Jodie? What would I have to say to her? And you guys, this was really powerful because what actually came out of that for me was what I heard those points say. Like I saw that like I was always having the negative thoughts. Like I wanted to avoid the back office. I'm still working through that, like learning to not have all that judgment. But what the points also said back to me is, like no matter how high I am or how good I've done, it's just never quite good enough. And no matter what, like you just always wish I was a little bit better. And you just always wish like, you know, I looked a little bit better when you opened up your computer and looked at me. And oh my word, this was just so incredibly powerful to me. And then what I also heard in all that, I don't even remember if this was part of the exercise, but my heart definitely went here. I think it was somewhere part of the exercise, but this whole gratitude thing has just been woven through into my being so much the last few months. But what I heard from that is I have got to learn to fall in love with what is. And how am I going to change my attitude? How am I going to change my feelings about those points so that way I'm not always having this judgment, living in judgment. You guys living in judgment, being whether you're the judgmental person or feel like you're being judged, like it's always uncomfortable. It's never a happy place. It's never a place to hang out. It's never a place to want to occupy. And I heard very deeply, I needed to be able to open up my computer and just look at those points, no matter what they are. You know what? It might be 11 o'clock at night. Let's see, like 1 or 2 a.m. on the first of the month, and it says 0. Can I look at those points and be so grateful for them? And honestly, if your points say 0 right now, can you just open up your back office and actually be glad you have a back office? That means you've ordered your products. That means like that means you have something here. So I had to really fall in love with the what is. And I started this practice, literally opening my back office and just looking at those points and saying, you know what, I'm so grateful for you. And then throughout the day, I just think about what was that last number that I saw and just be so grateful. So we were camping last month, and there were so many miracles that happened along the way, just like different things. Like it was like, wow, like I just could not have produced that. And one of the things, very simple, we were having a campfire. And sorry, my team has heard all of this already, or most of them have. There are some new people on tonight, but we were having a campfire and the office was closed. We were at a campground, and my daughter wanted we had bought one bundle of wood. And my daughter loves fires, and the bundle of wood was about gone. And she wished for more. We're like, well, the office is closed. We can't really get any more. And it was like, felt like it was kind of expensive. And she's like, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. Like, we're not gonna be able to get wood. But I could tell she really, really wanted wood. And so I started to pray for wood. And it stopped me for a little bit though. I was like, where could I find wood? Like maybe I could find wood somewhere around the campground. And I prayed for wood, and I started and then as soon as I prayed for it, then I started looking in fire pits. I was like, oh, I could look in fire pits. Maybe there'll be some leftover wood in there. And sure enough, I came up on a fire pit that had a log in it. And then I found another log. And I really wanted a third log, you guys. I really wanted a third log. And yet I was like, I need to maybe just be happy with what I have. And then I heard, have you given thanks for the 2 logs that you have? And I was like, oh my word, no. Like I've just been so obsessed with like wanting a little bit more. And I was like, oh my word, thank you for the logs that I do have. I just really gave thanks. And I was almost back at my camper. I was like, there aren't even many more fire pits to look in. And would you know, the fire pit that was the closest to our camper, I looked in there and there was 4 pieces of wood in there. You guys, what this spoke to me was you have to be grateful for what you have in order for more to come. Like, and then when you do get that more, can you like be so incredibly grateful and really embrace that? Or when that more comes, are you just going to wish for more? And like, it's just never going to be enough.
Yeah, and we talked about that. It was kind of like, if it's not enough now, you could be given tons more, but then you're going to
Yes.
for the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing, and then maybe you'll be diamond, but you're not double diamond, but you're not triple diamond, but you're not, but you're not, but you're not. It's like,
And then,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, it just really comes back to an attitude.
Yeah.
Like, what if it's actually not so much about the points? I mean, yes, we do want the points to grow, but what if the process of the points growing is, being so incredibly because you're going to be in a different spirit. You're going to be in a different, like, your demeanor, your energy is going to be so different if you are in a place of judgment towards your points or gratitude towards your points. And that energy is going to come out in the things that you post, when you show up in your stories, when you get on a team call, whatever, it comes out.
It's a relationship, right? Yeah. And we were talking about this too. So I was really just thinking about this parable all month. And it was interesting because then when me and Jodie got talking about gratitude, she brought up this parable. And this is like one part that gets missed a lot. Okay, the bread and the fish. And there's like 5 and 2 loaves, 5 loaves, 2 fish. Anyway, and before the miracle.
Right,
oh yeah,
right before you say that, can I just piggyback on the cup story just a little?
yeah, please.
So I had got this cup that I got the month I went Ruby. It was a red cup. And it was one of the 3 things that was like the sign that I knew Ruby was going to happen that month. There were 3 red things that showed up that month. And the cup broke. And it became actually really emotional for me because I was like, what does this mean? I realized, like, anyways, your rank is never your identity. But you know what? That cup had kind of become a little piece of my identity. And I was like, the cup broke. What does that mean? And I told Colin, I said, I think this maybe means I need to let go of Ruby. And the next morning, you guys, the next morning, I sat down with my gratitude journal and I looked in my gratitude journal from the day before. And do you want to know what I had written in my gratitude journal that day? No, the morning before my cup broke, I had wrote Senior Ruby. That's my current rank right now, you guys. I had wrote down Senior Ruby and I was like, oh my word. I just gave thanks for Senior Ruby and then the cup broke. And right away, my mind went to like these parables. I was like, in those parables, there was a giving thanks and there was a breaking. What order did that happen in? It was that order. And there's this phrase that a book that I've read, 1000 Gifts. If you've never read it, it's incredible, but I've learned it in there. And she says, gratitude always precedes the miracle. Gratitude. And in this parable, Amanda, go ahead.
I'm like soaking this all up. Go.
Yeah, in the parable, if you read it, first, Jesus gave thanks for what was. Gave thanks. Actually, he gave thanks. And actually, I don't even know if this was a parable. This like happened. This was like a true story kind of thing. But anyways, he gave thanks and then he broke the bread and he shared it. And then what happened? 12 baskets were left over.
I love that. And it's so easy to miss that, you know, like that gratitude piece. And coming from like, I'm a high achiever, I'm very red, I'm a type 3, like Enneagram, and I love achieving things. But at the same time, how often, and I was working with Alejandra as well. She does a lot with Brooke, and something I'm working through in my personal life right now is receiving. I don't receive well. And when I got talking to Jodie, I was like, I think that's it. Gratitude. That's why I can't receive, because I haven't received what I've been given, and receiving as in gratitude, as in thanks. I haven't given gratitude for what God has given me, but now I want another thing. And I just think of if we were giving our kids gifts, you know, it's Christmas, and how hurtful I would think as a parent to give all these gifts that you've just cushioned your kids with, and you've got them all there, and it's Christmas morning. You know, you're excited to see your kids open those, right? I love it. That's like my favorite part of Christmas. And it would be like them like walking in and seeing this pile of gifts, maybe opening, maybe not, and not even acknowledging them, playing with them, looking at them and walking out the room, and then coming back in and saying, I just really wanted a car. Why did you get me all that? Where's my car? And you're like sitting there and you're like, I just gave you all of this. And so that's an analogy I thought of today about this, where it's like, am I that kid with all these gifts sitting on the floor that I haven't unwrapped? And maybe there is a car in the driveway wrapped up. I don't know, right? Maybe there is. But maybe my parents aren't going to really want to give me that, because I'm not even ready for that, because I haven't even given gratitude for what this is. And how you do one thing now, it's not going to change when there's more. So this is something, like, if you're resonating with this, this is for me. I feel like this call was for me. Like, I needed this myself, and I'm in this with you. I am working through this with you. I am not there. I'm not saying this is where I'm at. This is where I want to be. And I just want to invite you guys to join me in this. And so I do have a gratitude journal, and I used it actually. And you know what? Now that I think about it, when I had the biggest growth in my business this year, guess what I did every single day? Wrote in my gratitude journal. And then I stopped because life got busy. So that's something I'm going to start again. And I invite you guys to do that with me. I'm going to write 5 things I'm grateful for every day, and put a 1 in the chat if you're doing this with me. Maybe we could do it in our team chat every morning. I think we did that for a day and then stopped. Maybe we should do that every day. But even personally, put a 1 in the chat if you're into that, and committing to that, because let me tell you, I did have the biggest growth in my business when I was giving thanks every day.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Amanda, did you want to say more about what the story meant to you, like the parable and all of that? Because it was so interesting that we were both working through the same thing, like had
Yeah.
both connected with that. Yeah,
So
was there more you wanted to say on that?
with that story for me, actually, I'll talk about the combine really quick. It's so interesting, and I don't know, put it like 2 in the chat if this is resonating with you, because let me tell you, this was not what I was going to talk about tonight. And I just kept being like, no, that's not it. That's not it. No, that's not it. And until it was perfect, or not perfect, but until it was what felt right, it just wasn't. And so last night, maybe even I told Jodie, like, we need to get together. So anyway, all month, all these things, like the conversations with Jodie and in Sunday school, that everything that I've been consuming this month has been going back to these topics. And I feel like it's because it's not just for me, it's for more. And so I just want to talk about, now this is an analogy, and this is where I thought about the bread and the fish a lot. And then she talked about the gratitude, and I piggybacked and I thought, okay, yes, I need that too. But we're broken. So I'm going to give an analogy of a combine. Amalia and Brandy have heard this. I think I told you guys about this, but it's this combine. It's not broken, but it's maybe not the best one. So there's different scales. I don't know who farms here, of like a combine that might produce the best harvest. And so the analogy is an imperfect harvest. And so it's like us, like we don't have the best combine. We're the combine, and it's not the best, right? Because we're human. and so it's this analogy though of this combine that's not great, not doing, and so the person finishes it and they look at the harvest and they're like, oh, that wasn't enough. That wasn't very good. I didn't get as much of a harvest as I would have liked. If only this could be better. And what happened is the way that the birds fed the soil and everything, it ended up being the perfect harvest. And so it was a perfect harvest made perfect with an imperfect combine. And that's like us. And so then I thought of the bread and the fish. And this is where I thought back to that I don't know, I keep saying analogy, that story of like, this is what I have, which is like not much, it feels like. Who resonates with that? You're like, this is all I have. Like truly, like put a 3 in the chat. I feel like this every day. This is all I have. Like, this is all I have to give to my team, to my family, to whatever it is. Like, is this even enough? Like, this is what I have. This is not even enough to feed everybody or to do what I know I need to do in my life. And when I heard that combine analogy, I was like, oh my gosh, I am enough. It's made enough. I give my best foot forward, and he takes the fish and the bread and multiplies it. And then it's not even enough, it's more than enough. So I just want you all to know that you are all more than enough. And it's giving that offering, whatever is your best. And I don't even like to say best, because some days we're not our best because we're exhausted and we're just trying to get through the freaking day. Sometimes it's not even our best, but it's what we have. It's what we have to give that day. And whatever that is, give that, and it's going to just be enough, more than enough, actually. And that's resonating with me. And then give gratitude. Give gratitude. Gratitude precedes the miracle, always. So that's kind of what had me thinking about that analogy. And then she didn't know I was thinking about that analogy. And then she shared that with me, and I was like, ooh, like, I think this is really,
Yeah.
we got to talk about this more.
Yes. Yes. Just like, I mean, your points, how often do you feel like they're not enough? Like, what if the not enough points is like, yeah, so much can still happen with the not enough points. I
Mhm.
mean, we could go into a whole nother thing about like the gold that's hiding in those not enough points. You know, you might have a diamond in you might be silver, but one of those people, um, might be your next gold or your next senior gold or ruby or diamond.
It's true. It's true. And coming from experience, I'm an emerald senior ruby, almost a double emerald. And I'm just going to be real with you. And you might judge me for this. And I'm totally okay if you're judging me and feeling like I'm snotty. But I often don't feel like that's enough. And that's just like almost a warning to you. Not a warning, but just like it won't go away. That's all I'm just saying is like if you're
Yeah.
sitting here feeling like that's like, does that make sense? That's why I'm sharing that. That I could list all these awards and accomplishments. And this is where I was working through this with Alejandra, where I said, Alejandra, I've got all these things here and I could make a list and I still don't feel like it's enough. Not because I'm not receiving it. I'm not processing it almost. Like it's like numb. I can list it. It's not digesting into me. And I said, this really bothers me. Like, how do I work through this? And it's that gratitude piece of gratitude for what is, because no matter how much further you keep going, it will never be enough if you're not grateful for what you have. You might think so. You might think, no, Amanda, no, once I'm this rank, it will be. And I'm here to tell you it won't be, because that was me. And this is something I'm authentically, rawly working through right now with you. We're all going to do this together. So
Yeah.
let's just
Yeah.
work on that.
Yep. And you know what? It was the month before I went senior ruby that that was revealed to me that, you know what, you need to be grateful for your points. You need to have a better relationship with your points. And I started looking at them and started saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's as though not enough is like a trap. It traps you and you can't even be what you are made to be. Gratitude frees you up. It's not like I'm so grateful for 15 points. I don't ever want to get to 800 points. It's not that you're that way, but it's like when you are so grateful for the 15 points, it frees you up to live out of like an abundance, an energy of abundance.
It's like a lid. It's an invisible lid that's going to just keep doing this to you.
The Big Leap. You haven't read The Big Leap.
And it not only cap you though, guys, if you're like, oh, I don't need all that, I'm comfortable. You're capping other people. And so you lidding yourself is selfish, because it's going to lid other people that you can't inspire and help, because you've just lidded yourself and now you just lidded everyone here too. And I did that. And I'm not doing that anymore. I shifted that in the last 6 months in my business because I was holding other people back. So I love all this. Is there any, I want to respect your time and also have people not see an hour-long recording and not watch it. But is there anyone that wants to throw something in the chat that really stood out to them, or if somebody's really got a gut tug, that's even a thing, that they want to unmute and just share, or something that they are struggling with that they feel comfortable sharing that they want to work through? We're all super nice people. We won't bite. If there's not, I just if there's anything, or if you want to use the chat, anything that or a takeaway, that's probably even a good thing, a takeaway you took from the call, pop it in the chat. Or just pop a 1 in the chat if you felt like this was something that was helpful or resonated with you.
Amanda, I just wanted to say that I thought it was interesting that you said the thing about lidding, because I'm working through some stuff and I actually had almost exactly that same thought for myself. I didn't think about a lid, but I was like, if I hold back from growing, I'm holding back from somebody else getting a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
So this was definitely the right thing to talk about because I resonated with it so much.
Yeah. And then it's like, because it can feel like selfish. Like, I have enough. I don't need more. But it's like, no, like God has other people that need more. And you're not helping them now. And when you have more, you can give more. Right. So I love that. Yeah. I know. I did that too. I'm like, no more lidding. It's like this pretend thing that we just keep doing. Love to be here. I'm just beginning my plexus journey. Oh, welcome. So happy you're here. This was so good. You're welcome. This was really great. It's like the analogy of the broken pot. Oh, yeah. Does everyone know that analogy? The broken pot that waters the flowers on the side of the road, but it's sad because it's broken and not beautiful. So it's about this pot that's broken, and it looks at the other pots and it's like, why am I so broken? Like, I'm no use. I'm all of these things. I'm so ugly. And it's literally watering all the seeds that's making all the flowers. And it just keeps thinking it's broken. I love that. Yeah. I really love that, you guys. Oh, I just got chills. Thanks, Amalia.
Yes, I did hear that story recently. Love that.
That's beautiful. I loved this. Should we do this again? I think we
Oh
should.
my word, yes.
Oh, welcome, Amy.
Because Amanda, we didn't get through it all, so we have some more things to talk about.
I know. Sorry, guys. I mean, I did give you permission to leave. I love the gratitude journal. Yep, I love it too. So 5 things a day. I'm going to put them in my chat for accountability. And that is, I never thought about that till on this call, that I actually, the biggest growth of my business when I was giving thanks, when I was giving gratitude. And I encourage you at the end of the day to do the same thing. Because for me, when I'm the worst on myself, it's at the end of the day when you're laying in bed, your kids are asleep, and you're going through your head, maybe it's just me, what you messed up on in the day. Like, I raised my voice to my kid there. I was a little bit grouchy here. Maybe I didn't do team call the way. I mean, maybe people didn't like that. At the end of the day, it's really powerful to give gratitude for what went well and focus on what went well. So you're resting your head at night with that same heart, because that matters as well. It's going to affect your energy into probably your dreams too. We don't want nightmares, but also affect your energy in the next morning. And so what went well is also something that is really powerful that I stopped doing, that I want to start again. Awesome.
Wow. I'm so excited for what is going to come out of these teams, because we have just released like so much power in all of this.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 2 months left in July, you guys. I know there's, a lot happening in your team. I just want to bless your team, all the people that are working for goals. Just don't give up on them. And there's so many on my team that are working for goals, and so many that have hit goals already. I'm just so, yeah.
That would be a whole other topic that I'm just about ready to like prowl on, guys. The month I went Emerald 2 years ago, I did it a year in my business. I woke up to 500 points short, and we did it. And I'm not saying to do that, but I'm just saying anything can happen. So do not give up on yourself. Work as though, I guess we didn't go into that, work as though the goal is happening the whole month, even on the bad days. Work as though. That's normal to have bad days when you're working towards something. That's super normal. So I can't wait to hear. We're gonna have to have a celebration Zoom. And even if you don't hit the goals you want, your non-scale wins, ladies, what happened that month? Maybe it's not related to your points. Often it's not. There's other things that move the needle forward in your business. But maybe it was this call and you just had like that lid thing. You're like, that's a win. So whether or not you hit the goal you wanted to on paper, there's things that non-scale wins, not weight, but maybe other things going on that we'll miss if we don't give thanks for. And those things matter just, if not more, as much. So, okay. All right. I'm going to get this recording. I'll send it to you, Jodie, and then actually I should stop this. Thank you for coming.